Good morning, children. Okay, so Australia, the flattest land we have learnt, isn't it? The climatical conditions, vegetations, and their extent, location, and which are the physical divisions, everything we have learnt, isn't it? So today we are going to have a one more lesson, that is impact of the British rule, history part. Okay, children. So we have learnt about the adventures of the Europeans as well as the Carnatic wars, yes or not? We have learned that, and so many policies implemented in the India during the time of British, isn't it? And in between British and the who's that? French people, yes. So there were three Carnatic war was happened. That also we have learned. So today we are going to learn how British people they made the implementation in India, how they have taken supremacy, political supremacy in India, as well as how they were improved or how they were conducted the reforms about the economical field, political field, as well as the land revenue policy and the Western education system. Then constitutional changes means constitutional act they were brought to Indians, children, understood? So today we are going to discuss this British rule. Because of the British rule, what was happening, what was the effect started in India, that we are going to learn. Okay, children. So here almost 1600 to 1757, there were British people, they were started during the time of 1600, isn't it? British were started East India Company in India, that we have learnt in the last lesson. During the time 1600 to 1757, up to British East India Company, it was only the trading center, children. Means only for the business purpose they were established this company, and it was continued also. But after 1757, slowly British people they were started to having the political supremacy in India. So everywhere they were started, because during that time Bombay Presidency, Madras Presidency, and here Odisha, Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, these are all Marathas they were ruled, isn't it? So here Marathas they were ruled. So Bombay Presidency, and here it is like a Carnatic region, like Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and Odisha, Bihar. These are all the presidencies, or the what do you call that, Bengal province. What is this? Bengal provinces. Uttar Pradesh, Bengal, and the Odisha, Bihar. These are all called Bengal provinces. So these are all slowly British people they were spread their supremacy in India, isn't it? Almost south and the western part, as well as the northwestern part, isn't it? So here what happened? Those who are the general, governor general, those who are the governor general, Warren Hastings. That was the name of the person, Warren Hastings. So he was implemented the one policy, that is the land revenue policy, children. Because during that time only East India Company, what the company they were made the treasury, they were made the money, that to actually that money it was not enough for the British people. Why? Because they would have give to the salary for the British officials also, children. Okay, and almost all the war expenses our kings they were started to give, isn't it? But here what happened, economically our kingdoms also they become very weak in the economically and the political. So that here British they were gain the chances, then they were started to collecting the financial or the land taxes from the people, isn't it? And those kingdom, if they don't have the heirs means they don't have the sons, means that property it belongs to the British people. So like that they were started to playing with the Indian people, isn't it, and gaining the Indian power also, isn't it? So here what happened, General Governor Warren Hastings started one new policy. He brought the new policy, that is land revenue policy. Okay, through this land revenue policy means it is those who are having the agricultural field or the lands, through the lands they are getting the taxes, children. Means they are started to collecting the taxes from the people. Yes, it was in the kingdom's times also, but they were started to collecting the more taxes. They put the more taxes on the jamindars, but jamindars they couldn't pay. Jamindars means who? Those who are having the much lands, means vast acres of the land, more than 5 to 10 or 40 acres of the lands. Okay, so more than 40 acres of the land, those who are having, during that time they were called jamindars or the landlords. Okay, so those who are the jamindars, they should pay the taxes, they should collect the taxes and to pay the British government. But here what happened, so many jamindars, they couldn't pay the taxes, they couldn't collect the taxes from the farmers. Some jamindars, they were started to exploiting the farmers, so those who are having the less acres of the lands. So like that farmers, peasants, farmers are there, no? So that farmers, they couldn't pay the taxes to the jamindars, or else they couldn't pay the taxes to the British government. Okay, so it was failure. Land revenue system become failure. Again in the 1793, one more system brought about the land reforms. Means they were started to reforming the lands. Means they were started to the fertility of the lands, agricultural methods like modern agricultural methods and equipments, they were introduced. Okay, so that here General Governor Lord Cornwallis, who's that? General Governor Lord Cornwallis, another Governor General, British Governor General. So he brought permanent land revenue system. He brought the permanent land revenue system to India. But here what happened? They were, all the British government, they were started to spreading the news. Those who are the jamindars, they should collect the taxes from the peasants or the farmers. But here what happened? What was the impact? What was the effect was started? These jamindars, just they were collecting the taxes from the farmers. They couldn't reform the land fertility or the land agricultural methods. They were not worked for the their agriculture. So that they were started exploiting the farmers. Because of this, farmers, they were became the bonded labor. Bonded labor means ಜೀತದಾಳು. ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾರು ಈಗ ನಮಗೆ ಕ್ರಾಪ್ಸನ್ನು ಬೆಳೆಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂಥವರೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಈ ಜಮೀನ್ದಾರ್ ಕೈಲಿಂದ ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನು ಪಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ಸಾಲಗಳನ್ನು ಪಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಈ ಸಾಲಗಳನ್ನು ಪಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಆ ಸಾಲನ ತೀರ್ಸೋಕ್ಕಾಗದೆ, ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ತುಂಬ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಸನ್ನು ಅವ್ರು ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಪೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಿತ್ತು. ಅದು ಅವ್ರ ಕೈಲಿ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಆಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ಲೋಲಿ ದೇ ಬಿಕೇಮ್ ಅ ಬಾಂಡೆಡ್ ಲೇಬರ್ ಅಥವಾ ಜೀತದಾಳಾಗಿ ಮಾರ್ಪಾಟಾಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಸಾಲ ಮುಗಿಯೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ತಮ್ಮ ಆಸ್ತಿಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಜಮೀನ್ದಾರ್ಸ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಬರ್ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಅವ್ರ ಆಸ್ತಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ವರ್ಕನ್ನು ಶುರು ಮಾಡೋದು, ಕೆಲಸಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡೋದು. ಇದನ್ನು ಏನು ಕರೀತಾರೆ? ಜೀತದಾಳ ಅಥವಾ ಬಾಂಡೆಡ್ ಲೇಬರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ರೆವೆನ್ಯೂ, ವಾಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ ಹಿಯರ್? ನೆಗ್ಲಿಜೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ implementations from the jamindars, they were started to exploiting the farmers. Okay, so that here almost all the farmers, they became bonded laborer. So again this permanent land revenue system was also slowly declined. Then they were introduced a Rayatwari system during the time of 1820th century. Here Sir Thomas Munro, he was introduced the Rayatwari system. But here, according to the Rayatwari system, all the farmers, they could directly pay the taxes to the British government. Means all the farmers, they should remit their taxes to the government without any intermediaries. What is that? Without any intermediaries, they could pay the taxes to the British government. Okay, under the Rayatwari system. So what is the Rayatwari system? All the farmers, they could remit the taxes directly to the British government without any intermediaries. Without any intermediaries means without any jamindar signs. Okay. But here what happened? All the farmers, what they were giving the taxes to the British government, it was not enough. So according to the Rayatwari system, what happened? Almost all the farmers, if anything was happened in their field, sometimes what will happen? They couldn't pay the taxes. Why? Because crops failures or earthquake, drought, flood. Because of this, they were not getting much yield, isn't it, in their field. So what happened? They couldn't pay the taxes what the government was fixed the land revenue. So that what happened again, Rayatwari system also it was declined. Then Mahalwari system started in India. Here British government they were started in 1833 century. Mahalwari system they were brought. But Mahalwari system what was happened? Again, Sir Thomas Munro only, because of the failure of Rayatwari system, he brought the Mahalwari system. Here, Mahal means estate or the village. One particular estate or the, during that time, estate managers, they were looking the estates, isn't it? What estates? Coffee estates or the tea estates, isn't it? So that type of the estates or particular villages, they were putting the taxes. So these taxes putting on the mahal, that is called mahal. Taxes, what is the mahal? Mahal means it is the estate or the villages. So those British government, they were putting the taxes on that mahal. Okay. So here almost all the jamindars and the estate owners, they should pay the taxes to the government. But here also what was happened, almost all the farmers they are working in the field, they became bonded laborer. So they couldn't work as much as British wishes, because British people they were appointed the officials here, children. Those who are the officials, they are getting the high salary. Especially here British people during the time of Mahalwari system, British people they were appointed the Indian officials, but that Indian officials they were not getting the high salary. Here only British people they are getting the salary, as well as whatever they are growing the crops, as what the farmers growing the crops is, they are not getting enough money, and almost all the food and the spices it will it was exported to the foreign countries through the East India Company. Okay, here again so many effects, so many impacts started in India because of the, these are all the system, land revenue policy, permanent revenue policy, Rayatwari system, Mahalwari system, these are all made the Indians economically weak, children. Okay, here what happened during the time, food was a shortage during this period. Why? Because almost all the food what the farmers they grown the foods, everything food and silks, sugarcane, tobacco, tea, coffee, jute, these are all it was started to exporting to the foreign countries, especially European countries, to England. Okay, then in India there were food shortage was started, especially in the Uttar Pradesh south and this western part, and Pashchim Bengal, Odisha part, and the Maharashtra, Bombay, these are all the places what happened, food shortage was started. Okay, then almost sales it was increased, but it is only for the British people. sales was increased, and the profit was made by the British people only, not for the Indian traders. Okay, so Indian traders, they became slowly economically burdened and the weak also. Then these British people, they were converted these South Indian land to as a market area. Means whatever the jamindars or the farmers land is there, that land was converted into the market yard. Okay, so everywhere they can see the marketplaces in the almost Uttar Pradesh, Bengal and the South India and the Karnataka region. Okay, so this was the impacts. And within Jamindari system during that time, Jamindari system was there, isn't it? Like Maldari system, Raitwari system, permanent revenue, land revenue, and so many Jamindars was there, no? So in that Jamindari system, again, new classes was started here. New classes means upper class, middle class, lower class, like that. Those who are working people, like farmers, or those who are not having the lands, they are called as a working class people. Then middle class means almost 5 to 15, 20 acres of the land those who are having, and more than 40 acres and 100 acres land those who are having, they are called jamindars. So like that class system, new class system introduced after the Mahalwari system, children. This was the impacts of the land revenue or the reforms of the land revenue system. Means reformation about the land, what was happened, that we have learnt. Then secondly, English education. Here what happened, British people, they were started to improving the English education. They were started to introducing the English education system in India. Why? Because during that time, so many Indian people, Indian thinkers like Raja Ram Mohan Rai and Swami Vivekananda, so many reformers, so many social reformers and the religious reformers and the English thinkers, because they were started to write, they were getting the English education, and through the English educations they were started to writing the English literature and the Kannada literature. But here also arguments was started everywhere. Why? Because so many European thinkers, they were started to make the arguments. Whoever the Indian thinkers or the Indian educators, they should start to writing their literature on their mother tongue. Okay, and here what happened, Lord William Bentinck, who was that? Lord William Bentinck, he was started, Lord William Bentinck, he was given the instructions to the Indians also. Means he was announced the English education in English medium, as well as Western science also, it should be in English medium. Okay, means they all the Indians, they couldn't learn in their own languages, in their own mother tongue, they couldn't learn. So that during the time of 1854, English education was started, introduced in India. During that time, almost 1813, what happened? 1813, there were a Charter Act started. Through this Charter Act, Lord Macaulay and Charles Wood, Lord Macaulay and Charles Wood, they were started to they were brought this act, Charter Act. According to this act, about 1 lakh rupees they should keep aside for the English education. ಅಂದರೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ಗೋಸ್ಕರ 1 ಲಕ್ಷ ರೂಪಾಯಿನ ಅವರು ತೆಗೆದಿಡಬೇಕಿತ್ತು. ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಿತ್ತು, ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಸ್ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕಿತ್ತು, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಡೆ 1 ಲಕ್ಷ ರೂಪಾಯಿನ ಅವರು ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ಗೋಸ್ಕರ ತೆಗೆದಿಡಬೇಕಿತ್ತು ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ because of what happened here, so many orthodox people, they were started to having the difference about the Western education. They couldn't bear the education, Western education, because that time Lord William Bentinck was introduced the Western science and the English medium education. They were started the colleges in Madras and the Bombay Presidency also. Madras and the Bombay, they were established the universities, English education universities, they were started. Actually, here main intentions of the British people. What is the main intention? How British people, they were introduced to the English education. Why? Because they were having the intention, those who are the Indian educators, Indian English educators, through them they were started to making more money. They were started to getting the more profit for the British people. For this reason ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಕಲಿಯೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅವ್ರ ಮೂಲಕ ಅವರು ಆಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಅವರನ್ನ ಅಂದರೆ ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಅವ್ರ ಮೂಲಕ ತುಂಬ ಟ್ರೇಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ನು ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕಲಿ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಅಥವಾ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ತುಂಬ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನನ್ನು ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಬಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ತುಂಬ ಈ ಆರ್ಥೋಡಾಕ್ಸ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ಗಳಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಈ ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನು, ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ತುಂಬ ಸಹಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಕನ್ನಡ ಈ ಏನು ಥಿಂಕರ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ದೋಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಥಿಂಕರ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ರಾಜಾರಾಮ್ ಮೋಹನ್ ರಾಯ್, ರವೀಂದ್ರನಾಥ್ ಟ್ಯಾಗೋರ್, ಕಮಲಾದೇವಿ ಚಟ್ಟೋಪಾಧ್ಯಾಯ, ಮಹಾತ್ಮ ಗಾಂಧೀಜಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸೋ ಮೆನಿ ಥಿಂಕರ್ಸ್, ಇವನ್ Swami Vivekananda. So these are all the thinkers. They were started to write their own mother tongue. They were started to writing the literature, Kannada literature as well as the Indian literature. It may be Bengali, Odisha, or it may be Hindi or Marathi, whatever the literature is there, no? So that literature, they were started to writing their own mother tongue. Okay, for example, Rabindranath Tagore, he got the Nobel Award from the British people, and he was opened the Shantiniketana school also, isn't it? Through the English education, children, because he was also well learnt in the Madras and the Bombay University. Okay, he got the English education. But those who are the thinkers, they got the English education, they were started to writing their own mother tongue. For example, Rabindranath Tagore, he was written in Bengali only. Okay, means Bengali literature, and he got the Nobel Award also. But these are all improvement. Indians, they got the education, but it was not helpful for the British people. Okay, children. ಬಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಾಯಿತು ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅವಾಗ ಇರಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ಲು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಉಳಿದಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನಾಯಿತು, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಕಾಣೋ ಹಾಗಾಯಿತು, ಮತ್ತು ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ನು ನಮಗೆ ಸಿಗೋ ಹಾಗಾಯಿತು ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಏನು ಅಂತಲೇ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೆನ್ ಎವರ್ ದೇ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ದ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್, ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಆಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಓವರ್ ದ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. ಓಕೆ, so that was the major reforms about the land and the education. So next class we will learn about the constitutional acts and the constitutional reforms, what the British people they made to India, and what was the impact, and who are the political leaders they were arose in India. That we are going to discuss next class, children. Okay, so please go through this lesson, read well, and all the dates please remember that. Okay, thank you.